What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Pam, and today I have another episode of Repot with us with a very special, much requested guest, the fabulous Becca de la Plants, and I'm going to let her say hello and introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Becca de la Plants, also just Becca, and I'm over here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, just doing the whole plant thing.
The content.
Yeah, content girl.
Well, first of all, let's tell the people what we're repotting today. Why don't you show us what you've got?
Okay, so I'm repotting this. I don't know how to say the name. I will hold up the ID card because that will be the most helpful for all of us. It is focusing. There we go. There's that. And then for you, Panoreform.
Let's see. Yeah, no, I don't know.
I have no idea, but
one of my embarrass myself today.
Yeah, one of my local nurseries, the owner gave me this as like a cutting off of his plant, which was really, really nice and generous. And then I'm repotting this weirdo. This is a Manfreda chocolate chip. It's like a succulent type of thing.
That's really cool.
And then since you're doing a Sansevieria, I figured I'd grab one of mine that really needs it. So this is a Bantal Sensation Sansevieria.
Beautiful. I don't have one of those yet.
They're lovely.
So I have on the Sansevieria front, or I guess Dracaena now.
Yeah.
We have the Sansevieria, is it Samurai? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
But Becca actually sent this to me in a plant swap some time ago, and as you can see by the dirt just cascading out of the bottom, it is well and true in this. Oh, good Lord. So the roots are very dry. The thing is it's top heavy and it's fallen over about 300 times. So today's the day it's going to get a new pot and hopefully not die on me. Mm-hmm. And then I have a little beautiful, rather lovely cutting of a Philodendron Brazil that's putting out some very cool variegation. And I just have this like propping in leca balls, which was a tip from Adam, actually. Mm-hmm. It's working out quite well. And I'm going to get that in a pot today. And then the star of the show, my Philodendron Atabapoense. Atabapoense. I don't know how to say it, but she has recovered from the thrip war pretty well. So I'm going to try and get her in another pot today. She needs a moss pole. I don't have one, so we're going to work with this ugly stick again, but it is what it is. Oh, the Sansevieria just fell over again.
Those things are the worst. You have to put them in almost like a pot that's too big for them so that it's just like heavy enough to hold it, right?
I've got this like pot and then like a metal cash pot that I'm hoping will like keep it in place today. So I guess we're repotting that first. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't we tell the people, how did you end up doing what it is that you're doing right now? I know you used to be a teacher like myself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We have so many things that we could possibly discuss in this episode. Yeah, so I was an ELA social studies teacher, 6th grade for a year. That's what I went to school for. I went to school to be an English teacher for secondary ed. And I did that for a year and realized I'm too young to like hate my life. So I got out of that. So actually when I was a teacher, you and I chatted like quite a bit about all of that. Like it was a bonding experience kind of. So
it's a hard job.
Yeah. But so then after that I went into marketing. I worked at my mom's firm and that kind of gave me like a lot of freedom to like do creative things because it was sort of like market research. Like for my day job, I was like, oh, how do you grow on social media? And then I just did it. So that's kind of like the motivation behind like growing the page, because I originally started the page because I just wanted to share information. I just wanted to share what I was learning and just more or less, I don't know, just share. So there really wasn't that much intention behind like growing it, more so just to do it and say I did. It was like a New Year's resolution type of thing. Like do it for a year and if you hate it, you can quit. So
That's a good way to go about it.
Yeah, might as well. So, yeah, that's basically like how it started. That was the question, right? How I started.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. Yes.
Excellent answer.
Well, question answered.
Yeah, it's interesting how a lot of people end up falling into this game, and I know that it's very obvious to anybody watching. I highly doubt anyone watching this doesn't already know about your channel, which will obviously be linked below if for some reason you don't. But I mean, you have done a marvelous job of building a brand, and now you have expanded your brand from houseplants to gardening, which was the big reason I wanted to have you on, because it is the most wonderful time of the year, in my opinion, when you get to start dreaming of your upcoming garden plans. So I would love to know what you are the very most excited about. I know you talked a little bit about it in a video recently, but
yeah,
I'm gonna ask you again anyway.
In regards to gardening,
yeah, like what are you most excited to do this year in terms of like projects and stuff?
Okay, so last year I was only working with 4 large raised beds, and like my area that I'm working with is pretty big, so I've got a lot of space to do more. So like last year I felt like I wasn't using the space, and this year I'm planning on just like building more garden beds and finding more ways to grow just more, because yeah, like last year I was focused mostly on making a fence, so I wasn't entirely focused on the food. I mean, it was like a secondary thing, but I had to build a fence because deer, you know, and animals will eat my food before I get to eat it. So I'm just excited to like start the seeds, number one, and like actually find success. Like actually, you're great at starting seeds. So
it took a lot of being bad at it to get there, but yeah, I feel like I've gotten a good system down now, and I've got a good handle on the early problems that come up and like how to prevent those. So that has been so crucial. And I would say like timing, just figuring out your timing it's something that you can to some degree like read about, figure out, get information from other people, but your microclimate, your area, you just have to try it, and it's got to be trial and error, in my opinion.
Last year, all of my seeds failed, like big time. Big fail. So which was like really heartbreaking, but I did most of my garden from starts, which was more expensive, and just like not as, it wasn't that it wasn't as rewarding, but like it's just not the same, I think, as if I was like completely go out on my own. And so anyway, I'm really excited to do that and like really double down on my seed starting process, because last year I just like slapped them under some grow lights that were kind of far away and didn't really think about it. I kind of equate like my early, like last year gardening and also this year to my first couple years of house planting, because also that root is so long. Look at that. That's amazing.
Okay.
But yeah, like I kind of equate it to my first like couple years of house planting. Like I had no idea what I was doing. Like I was just like running off of energy and just like excitement because I had no clue. So that's kind of what I'm still going through, but I'm just excited to see it from like start to finish, like, and not be stressed about a fence. Yeah.
Yes, and a lot of times, like, I think that that first year of gardening is kind of, I think expectations are so crucial, because I tell everybody that's getting started, like, please go into this expecting everything to fail, because there's so much to learn, and there's so much that's out of your control in terms of like environment and weather and all of this stuff. You have to learn about soil science. I mean, it's a lot. So I always tell people, like, just play. Just, like, go out, plant as much as you can. You know, figure out you planted too much the hard way. Like, it's part of the process, because you learn a lot along the way, for sure. And then there's a lot of no fun things at the beginning. Like you said, like the fence is, you know, pest control, water. Water is, I would rather throw my face into a pot of boiling water than sit and figure out how to do a stupid drip irrigation system. I don't want to do that at all. So I fully intend to bribe my boyfriend into figuring it out for me, because I don't care at all. I have no interest, and I learned last year that I need drip irrigation. So, sometimes it's not as fun, but...
Yeah, okay, I don't have drip irrigation. I just hand watered for the most part. And do you get a ton of rainfall where you are?
We get enough that in the earlier part of the season, I feel like I can hand water and it's not overwhelming. It's kind of like nice, I get up and I hand water. But as soon as around July hits or August, it's like you can't you just can't. Like, you'll be out there for hours, it dries up immediately. You have to go out there early in the morning, or my elderly neighbors will come out and be like, you shouldn't water this late in the day. I'm like, okay, well, it's either now or never, so leave me alone. I think that for the flowers, you can really get away with, like, kind of leaving a lot to nature. But when it came to, like, a lot of the vegetables, I think a lot of that really needs some attentions. But I get more water than, I would say, like, people in the southern, southwestern region do, for sure.
Arizona. Hold on, I need to get a pot.
Yeah. But I know you're also building a greenhouse this year, which is something that I started and did last year, too. And it was a really fun process for me. So are you more of, like, are you a tool person? Like, are you excited for, like, the building process? Or are you more of a end of the process reward person?
See, I feel like I'm kind of both. Like, I like no. I don't like the planning, but I like the building. Like, building it is actually fun. But spending so much time, like, planning and thinking and dreaming of what I'm going to do, it's stressful because I'm doing it myself. Like, because you could, like, buy a kit, like a greenhouse kit, and which is a great thing to do. And you made yours out of, like, cattle panels, right?
Yeah.
Which is so cool. Like, tell me, okay, I want to hear about that as well. Because I'm thinking I might have space. Well, I am going to have space if I want to do, like a cold frame type of thing. Is that yours is basically like a cold frame?
Yeah, kind of. It's, I never got to the point last year where I finished it, like, and closed it in, but that is the plan for this year. So this year I'm going to get a newer, I ended up getting, my plastic was not wide enough to, like, wrap around the front and back of the greenhouse enough so that I could staple it and not have to, like, I wasn't even sure how I was going to, like, attach the ends of the greenhouse because everything I saw, they just stretched it around. So this year I'm going to get bigger plastic so that I can do that. And then I'm going to build a door and build a window. So it'll be, like, more of a proper greenhouse, but it will be unheated. I just built, and I've never built anything before. So it was very much like okay, we're gonna wing it. So I put, like, a square of, heavy wood on the bottom, and then I just kind of bent the arches into it, and then I built, like, a rail almost around it just to, like, hold everything in. And I mean, it's lasted through, let's see, we've had a hurricane, we've had a blizzard, we had, like, an earthquake last year, and I'm like, the world is collapsing in Massachusetts, and so far the cattle panel greenhouse is killing it. So
there you
hopefully
go.
This year I will have, like, a full process video from start to finish of it, and then, like, showing what I did wrong, and then I'll have the ability to show it finished properly.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I'm excited for that. That's so cool. So yeah, like, building the greenhouse is going to be really fun. I'm making a, like, wood frame, I think a lean-to style greenhouse, because, like, the long part of the greenhouse is going to be facing south. So I think a lean-to would be the most efficient thing, right? Like, that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, this pot has, like, really beautiful art on it, but
my God.
I planted the plant, like, sideways.
Oh, it's going. Oh, whoops. That's all right. It'll turn with the light, right? Oh, that is gorgeous.
We hope. I might fix that. That's going to bother me.
I was telling the last person I filmed with that I desperately need more cool pots. It's going to be my thing this year.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, I was never a cool pot person, and then I was like, okay, I've been buying way too many plants. I'm going to stop buying plants. And I'm like, what can I buy now? Oh, pots.
Yes, I think that's the next iteration of the obsession, right? Like, and then eventually you have to like learn how to make pots, you know, like.
Yeah, that's next.
On the topic of gardening, I would love to have this like chat with you about like the whole like expenses thing, because now you built a very impressive setup right out the gate on your first year, and so you have really gotten a first-hand view of how much this stuff can actually cost. And I think that we agree that there is a little bit of a lack of, I don't want to say transparency, but like maybe a lack of like presenting all of this information on how much gardening can cost to have like a really effective setup. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, okay, so I tallied up how much it costs to build my garden, including the tools, the rock, the wood, the fencing, the garden beds, the soil, the plants, like literally everything that I could think of. And it was like $3,000. So
a mere $3,000.
When I tell you that I was shocked, like beyond shocked. And of course my garden was it was like made out of wood during the time when wood was like the most expensive it has ever been, probably. So that was like a not a great choice on my part, but I wanted it, so you know, whatever. I just got one of those emails. It's like, I have an opportunity for you.
Oh my god, dear YouTuber.
Actually, an opportunity. Yeah, I just got one of those emails right now. Anyway, so yeah, like, did I know that building a garden would be that expensive when I started? Absolutely not. And I think that is something I'm slightly salty about. Like, people online make it seem like, I mean, you can definitely do it on the cheap, like for sure. And I know that I did not do that. Like, I was like, whatever. I saved up a while. I was living in apartments and like living very far below my means, and I was able to use my money from my YouTube channel, obviously. So, you know, it was a little bit different of a situation. And I definitely make that very clear, like when I talk about it, like the finances were funded by my YouTube channel, because if it was a personal expense, I definitely would not have spent that much on, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know.
Same.
I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like it's far more expensive than I thought. And like there's so many things just, I think in life and in society that people are like, it's accessible, like you can do it. Like there's no, as Pam and I were having this conversation a little bit before we started and we had to stop, but we're like, there's no excuse to not grow your own food. And it's like, well, actually there's a lot of excuses. Like it takes so much time, so much energy, so much money. And like, it's just like not an accessible thing. And like, maybe you could grow a tomato bush in your backyard and it wouldn't be that hard. But like, if you're wanting to really grow your own food, that's like a full like 4, 5, 6 month commitment of your life that is pretty much dedicated to this, which most people who like work regular jobs cannot do.
Yes.
So there's just no time.
And I feel like there's a lot of I think like people have to have like a little bit of skepticism when they watch like these videos that are like, you know, build this for less than X amount of money, because a lot of like, especially like these prepper channels and stuff that are like getting all the views on like just scaring people about the supply chain and food security and all of this stuff. You have to remember that a lot of these channels that are constantly banging on about how you have to grow all your own food and you have to do all this stuff, that's their bread and butter. They're making money on your clicks. They don't have to be telling you the truth, you know, like it's. And I know that my greenhouse came from a video that was like, oh, build this greenhouse for less than $200. Not on any planet, not on any continent. No, it's not possible to build that greenhouse for less than $200. And I intend to make that very clear when I do my video eventually.
Yeah, it's, I don't know where they're getting these numbers. Like maybe at that specific time, I don't know. I feel like those videos don't age well because the prices of everything change it.
Oh, so much, especially in the last few years.
Yeah, so I think it's like, how can you even say that? I don't know, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And like, also a lot of the time, those videos don't consider that people don't automatically own like tools.
Yes, that was a lot of my expenses.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that to me because I made a video talking about how expensive it was to make my like green wall with the ladder and all of that. And someone was like, that's great and all, like, but actually you had tools to make that even possible.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to do this, they'd also have to buy the tools. And I was like, oh shoot, like, you're right. That's so true. And so, you know, when I came up with a number for how much my garden costs, I factored in the tools. And that's just an insane amount of money. It is. You'll use the tools a lot. So like cost per use is pretty good, but still like you're having to front that money.
Yeah. And I'm like, I wish that the content would just shift a little bit more to like, here's how to shave off dollars from the startup costs, because there's totally way, I mean, you can rent your tools, you can borrow your tools. There's a lot of tools at yard sales, things like that, or you can get manure and compost and stuff like that from like if you live anywhere that has any sort of rural farming or anything like that. Some people don't though. So it's like, it depends. I mean, you can certainly cut your costs down. You absolutely can. And there's a lot of ways to do it. But I think when you're getting started, a lot of the trade-off with cutting corners is that, you know, if you buy the cheapest light available to save some money, now you have the cheapest light. You know what I mean? And then the light's only going to do so much for you. Your seedlings might get a little stretchy. Like if you're not fertilizing enough because you're trying to cut costs, like that's going to affect your seedlings. Like it's something that I wish people would be more, I know why, because they don't want to discourage you, right? They don't want to discourage you from doing it, but I wish that they were just a little bit more, because you need to be prepared, because it's, especially since it's such small expenses, and then you add it all up and you're like, oh my gosh, and that's what happened to me, because I didn't think I was spending a lot until I added it all up.
Same. Like, and you'd think with that big of a number I would have noticed, but it was very like, oh, here's $500 for the wood, $500 for the rock, $500 for the soil. It's like, well, that's $1,500, and that's the bare minimum. Like,
that's how I do a lot of things with my, because I love to shop. For someone who's very anti-consumerist and capitalist in many ways, I love to buy stuff. It's like a disease. So my particular brainworms will tell me that if I'm spending $20 at a time, I'm not spending any money at all. I mean, it's only $20. What's $20? That's not going to make the difference in anything. And then like the next day, I'm like, it's just $20. What's that? And then all of a sudden I have 500 packets of seeds and I'm like, okay, maybe I should stop.
Yeah, there you go. And okay, seeds is a whole thing because it's like, okay, the thing that I don't understand about seeds, this is me being a noob gardener, but like, you buy this pack of seeds, it's like, let's say $2, $3, and it has like, I don't know, in some cases like 100 seeds in it, 50 seeds, whatever. And like, those are good all the time? Like, can I use them next year? Like, what is the shelf life of a seed? I'm genuinely asking. I don't know.
It depends on the seed. So like if you have, say like tomatoes and peppers, those are going to be good for you, you know, anywhere up to like 8 years I've used tomato and pepper seeds. The thing that happens is the germination rate just goes down over time. But then there's other seeds like onions. You want to use those the first year. Anything that's pelleted, you want to use the first year. I believe like squash seeds are like maybe 2 years, 3 years, something like that. So there's like, you can find like lists and things like that online. But I mean, for the most part, if you store them well, you keep them cool, you keep them dry, and you keep it in the dark, those things will last for a really, really long time. I mean, I was growing tomatoes last year that the seeds were at least 7 years old.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, so you can have a collection and not have it all like go bad and then feel crappy about buying it. Like I did buy a lot of seeds last year, but this year haven't had to buy any. I literally have all the seeds that I need and all the seeds are selling out left and right, and I'm just sitting over here with my flush collection because I invested in it last year. So
yeah.
But I like buying seeds. I'm not much of a seed saver yet. I'm sure I will be eventually, but
yeah.
Seems like a lot of work.
It's fun to like see all the new varieties. Like I was at the store yesterday and I just was looking for like asparagus seeds. Okay, is asparagus grown from seed?
Crowns usually. I know you can grow it from seed, but you'd be waiting even longer because they already, if you plant the crowns, like you're still gonna have to wait like 2 years to start harvesting.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm scrapping that then.
We'll do it now because, will you even be there in 2 years though? You don't know, right?
Yeah, I don't know. We will have to see.
It's one of those things I wish I did when I moved here because I thought like, oh, I'm not waiting that long. But if I had done it when I moved here, I would have them now. So.
You have them now. Okay. Well, gee. Okay, I'm going to have to fix my plants. I don't want to wait that long. Okay, that's how I feel kind of about like flowers, like peonies and like foxglove. Like a lot of those are like plant now and then they'll flower like the next year. It's like, what?
Yes.
I don't want to wait.
Yeah, it is kind of a bummer. There are, I believe you can get some hybrids of foxglove that may bloom the same year. I want to say that I have seen packets that do that, but I've already started my foxglove rotation. I started it 1 year, suffered through the no blooms, and now I have like, I start them every year and they're blooming every year. But I am very passionate about perennials. I think they're worth the time and effort. Especially if they're native, because they really, you're not going to need to water them for the most part. They're usually very tolerant to your climate, and they're going to control your pest problems. They're going to feed your wildlife. Like they're just wonderful. And a lot of people skip out on those because they're, patience.
Yeah. You're right. That's a good point. I think that I need to, I have like, the whole flower conversation is so beyond. Like, maybe that this year will be the year that I do more flower planting, but I planted some, like, hydrangea bushes and stuff like that. But beyond that, I didn't do a ton of, like, flower stuff.
Definitely do flowers. Oh my gosh, do flowers. Because, you know what, and it helps your vegetables, like, immensely. The amount of pollinators that I have in my garden, because I didn't do a lot of flowers the first year. I was in that very, like, every plant I plant... And every plant I put water and time into is going to need to be edible. It's going to need to be functional. Like I had very much had that like mentality. And then I started to read about companion planting and things like that. So I planted some flowers 1 year. And I mean, I cut 3 and put them in a vase and I'm like, fuck. Like, cause I just knew it was going to become like now I was like, oh great, I'm going to be a flower person. Dang it. And now it's like, I almost like it better than the vegetables. I mean, I'm always going to do both, but oh my God, to go outside and cut yourself a giant armful of flowers, Becca, you will never come back. I promise. You will never come back.
Oh my gosh. Do you ever I feel like I'm going to feel bad for cutting them though. Okay. With basil last year, I grew a huge bush of basil and I was thinking about it. And I'm like, wait a minute, I never even made pesto. I never even used it. I think that I cut off like one piece and like put it in tea or something. And then I like maybe used it in like pasta, but like I never fully cut it down and like made something with it. Like,
I definitely
what's wrong with me?
Issue.
Like,
I definitely have that issue. Like last year, right? The beginning of the year, we're still in pandemic mania, right? I managed to track down a pressure canner and I was like, I am gonna can. I bought a dehydrator to dry herbs. I mean, just the whole 9 yards. And like, do you think that I got even a quarter of what I grew canned or dehydrated? I didn't get anything canned, first of all, not a damn thing. And then, I like, had tomatoes rotten on the counter, like, so that's really going to become like the next focus for me personally is going to be like really like figuring out how to get that stuff processed because you're so tired from taking care of the garden. It's really hard to process everything. Well, how have you gotten into growing like herbs for tea yet?
No, so I tried to grow like cilantro and parsley last year.
Those are tough.
Like, yeah, like what? They're kind of like the Fittonia of garden plants. They're so thirsty. Like what's going on here?
Yeah, I would agree. That is very accurate. And they bolt the second they see the sun and it gets a little bit too hot. So. You know what sucks is that a lot of those like herbs that you get in all these beginner starter packs and everything are actually really kind of difficult. Like lavender needs to be cold stratified. So, like a lot of people don't even know that. So they plant it and they're like, well, how come I got 2 sprigs of it? And it's like, well, because it didn't have a freeze period and they don't tell you that. And then like rosemary, pretty difficult to grow from seed. I managed to get it to work last year, but that was the first time and I've been gardening for like 5 or 6 years now. So, and then like parsley, I have never gotten parsley to successfully grow from seed, like, ever. Cilantro I can do, but parsley, no. Cilantro you have to succession plant every week, or you're just not going to have it.
Oh. Okay, see, that's the thing, like, succession planting, I did not do at all. And, like, I planted 4 zucchini plants at the same time, 2 inches apart from each other.
Okay, I did that.
Yeah, did you? Oh my gosh.
Like,
It was so bad. Like, I had no idea how big they would get. Like, I just did not comprehend. Like, it is coming from houseplants. I think, like, the houseplant to gardener to homesteader pipeline is, like, actually, like, a very well-worn road.
It is.
But, like, it honestly freaks me out that, like, I grow these houseplants, so my thoughts on how fast plants grow is, like, informed by that. And then I put out some seeds, and, like, within a week, it's, like, they have, like, 5 leaves and, like, a flower. And it's, like, my zucchini, like, flowered and put out fruit so fast. I was like, what's going on? Like, how is this even possible? Like, this plant is a beast, right?
Yeah. I had stuff growing out of my compost pile last year that I was like, when did I even eat this? Like, I don't even know where you came from. Like, and this is the, gonna be my third year out in that big lot. I was doing stuff in containers before, but it's gonna be like the 3rd year in the big lot. And because I put so much perennials into the ground, this year I should have fully mature blueberries, strawberries, elderberries. I put in, like, a bunch of stuff to, like, cut, you know, like I did, like, I put in some dogwood trees, like, all kinds of stuff. So, like, there's going to be a lot of, and then all the volunteers. That's the best part. You should start getting them this year, just from planting last year. But the volunteers start coming up, especially with flowers. Like, after you do a couple years in a flower bed, you'll never have to plant them again. And it's just so fun. You go out in the spring and you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
That's exciting. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of, like, tomato volunteers, because anytime a tomato was, like, rotten or, like, looked bad, I would just, like, pick it off and, like, put it into the garden bed. I was like, whatever. And, like, birds would eat them and they would drop everything. So I feel like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of tomato plants in that old bed, but I've, like, reworked everything. So everything is in a different place. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm just so excited.
I know. I can't wait to see what you do. I am very, very fired up. I was doing really good at not, like, spring watching until about last week. I don't know if, like, everyone's hitting around the same time, but it's starting to, we're getting those, like, weird 48-degree days. I don't know what that is in Celsius here from my other friends. But, like, it's just starting to get, like, warmer, and I'm going outside and just being like,
yes.
Oh, and the one other thing I wanted to ask you about was, like, you've moved through a dramatically different climate as well. So how has your first winter been?
Okay, this is my second winter. So first winter was horrible. I was in a very bad place. Because I went from, like, sunny Arizona, constant sunshine, you know, if it was cloudy for, like, 3 days, I would feel depressed, and then the sun would be back and it was fine. So this has always kind of been in me, right? Like, it's been, like, underlying. And then last winter, I saw the sun maybe, like, 4 times, and so you can fill in the blanks there. It was not good.
Yes.
But this winter, the sun has been out so much. Like, today is a beautiful sunny day.
Same.
It's
Gorgeous
like
here.
Yeah, it's, like, a beautiful weather in my plant room. Like, all the sun is just warming up my spaces, and I don't know, like, what it is, but, like, we got more snow this year, but also more sun. So to me, this was, like, a perfect winter. Like, I loved it.
I completely agree, and I'm not a winter person. Like, we got that one kind of amazing blizzard, like, and then it got so warm that it just melted it all away, and I'm like, okay, if every winter was like this, I would be totally fine with this. It's been really nice. Yeah, I'm definitely going outside today to peek around at the greenhouse and clean some stuff out while it's sunny, so I can absorb the vitamin D.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that too.
Well, show me your repots. Is everything done over there?
Everything's done. I think that this is the star of the show. Like, this really looks super nice.
That really looks gorge.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on a plank so that it can start growing, because this plant is pretty young. It's like a new prop, so it should, hopefully. So we've got that one. Thank you. And then it's in the same pot because the root system is this big. So hopefully new soil will bring out some more root growth. But Sansevieria is usually not too rooty, right?
Yeah,
I've never really seen one that has like...
No. They're like the pine trees of plants.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Manfreda looks so good in this pot. It was actually had like a way bigger root system than I thought. So it'll probably need to be up potted in the next like year, but that's okay.
Nice. Okay,
Let's see yours.
Little guys in their matching metal cash pose. These were dollar store scores, which was a nice bonus. So those are good. And then I've got Big Mama here in her little plastic pot with her ugly stick and clip.
Gorgeous.
Thank you so much for being here on my channel. I have been literally harassed day and night for you to be here. So I appreciate you taking the time to get these heathens off my back. I'm just kidding, guys.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I'm glad that we've never like gotten to like video chat, I don't think. Maybe one other time?
No. Yeah, no, we've collabed, but it's always been pre-recorded. Not live recorded. So this was really fun. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your sunny day.
Yes, I will. I will. And you've motivated me to go out and clean up the garden because I have not even touched it since the end of the growing season last year. So there's like dead plants everywhere.
Well, that's good. The birds like them anyway, so.
Yeah.
You just left some housing for insects. It's fine.
Perfect. Actually, that makes me feel better. So I did a good thing.
Yes. Very benevolent.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you enjoyed our Galentine's Day collab. And Becca, why don't you give your little socials a shout out and bid the people adieu.
Okay, so on YouTube, I'm Becca De La Plants. Instagram, De La Plants. TikTok, De La Plants.
All right. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
Bye.